Hey guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and it is time to take a look at my last 5 books. So as some of you I'm sure are aware, I kind of changed up how I do my TBRs and reviews a while back. Rather than posting a TBR for the month of all the books that I'm hoping to be able to get to, instead I'm kind of just narrowing in on the next 5 priority books in my TBR, and I share those in a video called The Next 5 Books, and then when I'm done with them, I give you a look back at them in a video called The Last 5 Books. So here is the first last 5 books of 2016. And I have to say, there were some definite winners in this stack. So let's dive in. First up, and one I know a lot of you were curious about, is Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. Now, I said in my next 5 books video that this was starting off really rocky for me. It was very cheesy, and I wasn't really buying into the world or the sort of magic system, and it just wasn't quite killing it for me the way that it has seemed to sweep through the blogosphere. But I have to say it did kind of right itself. There were still throughout the book things that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way as far as feeling kind of cheesy or unrealistic or whatever, but for the most part, after it kind of got over that rough start, either I just decided to go with it or it got better, I don't know. But it did get to a point where it was very engaging and readable and I was loving it, and it even got to the point that by the time I had finished the book, I felt like I was still kind of in it and that I should have still been able to pick it up and keep going. And that's always a good sign as far as I'm concerned. If I feel like I should still be reading the book and I'm a little sad that I'm not reading the book, it means that I've bonded to something in that world or those characters and don't quite want it to end yet. So it righted course. Enough so that I am actually looking forward to book 2, whereas when I started it, I thought I was not even going to finish book 1. So if you do decide to take this one on, I would say if you're finding it a little off-putting in the beginning, stick with it. Just kind of plow through those first 50 pages or so. I mean, it's fast going, so it's not like you're really going to have to slog through. It will probably get to a point for you where all the plots come together and everything starts to kind of hit the fan, and then it becomes really interesting. Never not predictable, I would say, but still potentially really intriguing. So I've done a full written review of this one. I will link it up below, and you can find more thoughts there. But up next we have The Killing Jar by Jennifer Bosworth. I will be sharing an excerpt of this one soon. I think it might actually be the next video that you're going to see. I mean, not literally, because you probably watch a lot of YouTube, but the next video from me that you're gonna see will be an excerpt of this one, because I had mentioned that I thought it had a really compelling intro, and I had some people want to see that, or hear that, I guess. So I will be sharing that very soon so you can get an idea of it for yourself. But again, thumbs up, and this one, straight through. I mean, it just drew me in. I found the voice really interesting and compelling. Again, it's a world that I think is predictable, and it's a plot that is predictable. But unlike Truthwitch, where this kind of feels like dramatic irony or cosmic irony, where you know what's going on as the reader, and you're seeing it happen and there's nothing you can do, and it kind of just heightens things for you. So it's not so much that predictable because there's not a better plot line and it's been done, but more predictable in the way of seeing a car crash in slow motion and you know it's going to be bad. I'm sorry for all the noise. Nugget has found a stockpile of catnip, and oh my heavens. Oh lord. He's gonna be tearing through the house like a madman. So you're gonna probably hear him make a noise for a while because he's insane, even without catnip. Anyway, what was I saying? It's like a train wreck, you know, it's like a car crash and you're seeing it happen, you know it's gonna be bad. You maybe even see it coming from a distance and you see that these things are careening towards each other and there's nothing you can do about it. It's that sort of predictable. Not in a bad way, in a way that heightens the plot. And maybe makes you shout at the characters the way you would in a horror movie, you know, why are you going upstairs? It might have a little bit of that too, but again, it's something that works and it amps up the tension. I don't know if it will end up on my best books of 2016, or if it will be forgettable after a while, but in the moment, it's so readable and the voice is so strong, and the sort of extended metaphor that it encompasses of life and death and good and bad and right and wrong, all of that tied up without ever being heavy-handed and being like a moral that the author's going to hit you over the head with. It does all of that so well and so smoothly that I just found myself drawn in and loving it. Thumbs up. After that dark book, we had another dark book. I said that January was going to be the month of really dark books, and that I think 2016 might be the year of gritty, realistic, dark books. But anyway, up next was After the Woods by Kim Savage, and again, knocked it out of the park. This one is a debut. Again, I felt the voice was really strong and compelling, and the approach to the story was great. On the surface, it's about a girl who was sort of abducted, I suppose, in the woods when she tried to save her best friend from being abducted. And she was held, she was kind of missing for a couple of days and doesn't remember much. And so you go into it thinking it's going to be a discovery story of what happened to her in the woods. And in some ways it is, but it's so much more than that and more than you're expecting. And it goes to really uncomfortable places and doesn't give you those easy answers and tie it up with a bow. It really messes with the line of good and bad and who's the villain and who's not, and I loved that. And it's really well done. It's not done in like that gimmicky pulling your strings kind of way, but in a really authentic, believable way. You can see this happening. You can understand why the characters do what they do. You can see how the line does get muddied of bad guys aren't as bad as you think and good guys aren't as good as you think. And it just made for a really engaging, strong debut. Definitely looking forward to more from Kim Savage. And again, one I think I'll be recommending not only for people who are looking for kind of gritty, realistic contemporary, but also for that strength of voice and a really memorable character that you can kind of get behind and root for. So again, big thumbs up, and it was kicking the month off to a great start between those 2.5 books, you know, with Truthwitch. Then we have I See Reality, which is an anthology of YA contemporary realism short stories. Say that 5 times fast. And I had said that I wasn't going to read these all, that when it comes to short story anthologies, I like to kind of pick and choose and hop around, and I don't read cover to cover. I just go for what I'm in the mood for, what sounds good. That was a lie, because I ended up reading this cover to cover because they were all so damn good. This, I think, is one of the best short story anthologies that I've read in a while. Maybe it's because the unifying theme of contemporary realism is broad enough to let the authors kind of play and take their own take, compared to something like, you know, an anthology where it's all about werewolves and you're just getting 20 versions of the same story. This is all, I mean, it's contemporary realism. It's an entire genre in, you know, the bookstore, and it will fill like shelves and shelves and shelves. So I think that helped, that they're different enough while still being on the same kind of realm, but also they just, so many of these were just knockouts. They tend to be on the longer side, not super long, but I mean, none of them are just, you know, 2 or 3 pages. So that allows the authors to dig in and get a little meatier. But also they were just great experiments with tone and voice and perspective, and there are comics and drawings, so you're getting different styles. The first story, 3 Imaginary Conversations with You by Heather Demetrius, which is one of the ones I was looking forward to, is told in second person, which is when it's addressed at you. So, you know, not necessarily you the reader, but some anonymous you. So you're getting a lot of different sort of writerly takes on things. But also just almost every one of these. I mean, there were some that fell a little flat for me, but for the most part, almost every one of these on its own was just so damn strong. Just really good at whatever it was doing. So being funny or being poignant or being gut-wrenching or being serious, whatever it was, whatever approach was taken, was just well done. So well curated, well edited, well written collection. Great way to find some new authors if you're looking to try out some styles in a hunt for more contemporary. This is a great way to go about it. Lots of different topics that I think there's something in here for everyone, especially for teens. There's a lot in here as a teen that you can relate to and that you can see yourself in. And, you know, one of the great things about books is that it can make you feel less alone and like there's someone else out there. There are other people out there going through that and relating to this. So great from that perspective. Just really knockout, I think. So if you're not a short story person or don't think you're a short story person, try this one, because there are a lot of really, really great things going on in here. I will be doing a written review too, by the way. I'll try to remember to come back and post a link whenever that goes up that will give you a little more idea of what each story is about and whether I liked it or not, so you'll kind of know which ones to check out, in my opinion. So that was 4 of the 5 books in my last 5 books. I had said for the 5th book that I wasn't sure what I was going to read. I was just going to pick something from probably my backlog of books that I've got going on in a big pile over here looking scary, but that didn't happen because the one I wanted to read has gone missing. Not entirely sure what happened, but I cannot find it for the life of me. So instead I ended up reading 2 free-on-Kindle books, just for the hell of it, I don't even know why, and they both were duds, so I don't even remember. One was called The Protectors, I think. I don't even remember what the other one's called, but it was awful. I gave up on that one. The other one I did plow through just because it was quick enough, but again, it was not... I didn't really like anything about it, so boo on those. But the other 4 books and the real 4 books that were supposed to be in my TBR, those were pretty damn good and got me to a good start for 2016, so yay for that. All of the books that I mentioned will be linked in the description, so you can check that out there and add them to your wish lists or whatever. And I will be back again very soon with a look at my next 5 books, which, spoiler alert, will be more than 5 books, because I have some plans. But that is all for now. As I said, the next video up will be that excerpt of The Killing Jar, which I think is pretty stellar, so make sure to check that out. But until then, thanks for watching and happy reading!